It's a bad idea. Of all the ideas you've had, this is the worst. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Beverly Hills Cop 2 from 1987, directed by the late Tony Scott, who did Top Gun and other projects, written by Larry Ferguson and Walter Scarran, and Eddie Murphy helped contribute to the story. You can kind of tell, because it's pretty much beat for beat what Beverly Hills Cop 1 did. That came out 3 years prior, which for those who don't possess a calendar or the ability to do math, not Steiner math, but just basic math, that was back in 1984. I did a retro review of that, and I decided to retro review this. I will retro review Beverly Hills Cop 3, possibly Metro, because that's the kind of pseudo Beverly Hills Cop 4, before we get Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out on Netflix pretty soon. And once again, Eddie Murphy returns as Axel Foley, the Detroit cop who doesn't play by the rules. Yeah, so he just pretty much does the same wisecracking stuff. I mean, really, this does just follow beat for beat what the first Beverly Hills Cop movie did. And while I was never the biggest fan of the Beverly Hills Cop, franchise, I at least appreciated, upon rewatching, some of the wit of the first one. This movie doesn't have any of that. I mean, none of the characters have progressed, at all, like in arc or anything. We don't really get a lot of, great action because the guy and all just blends together. The comedy doesn't hit. Bridget Nielsen's in this. She looked incredible here. She still looks incredible now. She's fucking ageless. And you have Judge Reinhold returning as Billy, don't be your hero, Rosewood. And you also have John Taggart. I don't know. Taggart's just such a funny last name to me. John Ashton, who is a terrific actor, by the way. You have Ronnie Cox returning as Bogomil. And then you have a guy named Maxwell Dent, who is the villain, once again, with a German guy playing that. Oh my God, the Germans are at it again. Dean Stockwell, Paul Reiser, Gilbert Gottfried, Chris Rock has a cameo in this. And also Gilbert R. Hill returns as the police chief in Detroit. And, yeah, you have Alan Garfield as Harold Lutz. And basically there's somebody called the Alphabet Bandit or Killer that's going around committing a whole bunch of robberies. And these robberies have ties to Maxwell Dent. And from there, we have Beverly Hills Cop 2. And speaking of numbers, let's just get to that. So $27 million budget, which is just over twice as much as the budget for the 1984 movie. And that would be $74.6 million in today's money. $26.3 million opening, which is above the $15 million opening that the first one had. And that would be $72.7 million in today's money. $153.6 million U.S. gross. That is, however, about $80 million below what the 1984 one did. There's a reason why. This movie sucked. That'd be $424.6 million in today's money. $300 million worldwide gross, $829.4 million. And the other one did $316.3. So, okay, it was a success overseas, and there are elements that necessitate it, gain a sequel, like the fact that it made so much goddamn money. The problem is, a good sequel honors the first while going off in, a different direction, building on the story. The other one will just tunnel back in and follow beat for beat for beat, just hit the goddamn drum, and that's what this does. I did note when Bridget Nielsen was telling everybody, eat the floor, whatever you say, ma'am, I have issues, so what? So, this opening needed more gunshots, glass shattering, and people getting shot, and we get 80s soundtrack beats and everything. Shakedown, breakdown, takedown, honey. And yeah, Bogomil basically is investigating the Alphabet Bandit killer. He gets shot after Lutz basically just goes insane with power. The mayor isn't going to do anything yet. And then after he gets shot down, Foley finds out about this after doing some credit card investigation stuff, basically trying to get bogus credit cards to take down somebody like he did with the cigarette truck earlier. We just don't get any truck crashing at this point. We do a little bit later. Axel F plays It's a Song of Axel F, and that's the fourth one that's coming out soon. Paul Reiser attempts to do comedy in this. About as good as Mad About You. Paul Reiser, drive the Ferrari, do some stuff. Okay, I'll do that. And I did kind of like when the police chief said, Gilbert R. Hill said, it's like, don't think, Axel, make my dick itch. That's police harassment, I think. But anyway, damn it, Axel, I want your badge on my desk by 9 a.m. tomorrow. He flies to Beverly Hills with some money to investigate all this stuff. And yeah, whatever. Paul Reiser, who plays Jeff, I believe, is just going to continue to do his normal shit. And drive around this Ferrari, make this bus deal, whatever the fuck. Eddie Murphy has great improv skills and can do a line of bullshit in movies, and that worked at times in Beverly Hills Cop 1. It is beat for beat the same shit here. He does it with a construction crew so he can stay in somebody's home while they're on vacation in Hawaii. And nobody bothers to check this stuff because, granted, it was the 80s, but still, Axel wants to do it for Bogomil. Taggart and Billy, Don't Be a Hero, Rosewood. Judge Reinhold is just a great name, by the way. It just sounds like the name of like a 90s like enhancement talent that had a judge gimmick. In fact, if Judge Reinhold had actually been the name of the killer in Founders Day, we would have been better off. So yeah, basically we just get shootouts, investigations. There's a strip club scene at one point with a very pretty woman that's a stripper. Bridget Nielsen looked great in this, by the way, and it all goes back to the fact that there's, an oil crisis, basically. If you know anything about what led to, the oil bust in Texas and Oklahoma in the late 80s, I think it was 86, 87, something like that. It was felt all over the goddamn world. And then, that's one of his businesses, and because that happened, he now is having to basically supplement his income, getting guns, selling them to Central America, and doing all that stuff. And it was a little bit rough. It's been a little bit rough for the criminal mastermind. So Bridget has basically been, she plays Carla, by the way, she has been basically committing these various crimes at these businesses, as a way to get money, but then also they're going to pull some stuff as a way to get Dent to basically, get debts wiped clean. Even committing a crime at his own goddamn racetrack that he owns. And there was one funny part where, Billy, Don't Be a Hero, and Axel, where I can't help but say that ever since MST3K said that, where they do the theme for the dating game. That was just hilarious to me. And, yeah, just from there, we just get goofy action, which would be fine, except it's just the same repetitive stuff that we've seen before. Billy was, Billy just kind of being hilarious here. I don't know why Billy was just, going all gung-ho. I don't know why they decided to make him just all crazy guy. But Judge Reinhold played it well. So they do they managed to bust in just in time to chase Carla and her crew away. It's not like the DK crew. As hilarious as Bridget Nielsen saying the DK rap would have been, we did not get that. They chase them away. They're in a cement truck where they run over some goddamn, cars. So instead of the car or truck wrecking in the beginning, we get it near the end of this movie. And then they go to the Playboy Mansion, basically to disrupt all that shit. Hugh Hefner's there. They had to clothe the women, which is probably smart, not saying that they weren't attractive women, but you probably would have had difficulty keeping the R rating at that point. Lutz continues to be a goddamn moron. They're investigating the Alphabet Killer stuff. We don't see Bogomil the rest of the goddamn thing. Apparently Ronnie Cox wanted to take a vacation. His daughter, Jan, shows up. And she works at an insurance company, so she does this investigation and finds out all this stuff going on with Dent's policies and his, stuff that has prolapsed. I don't think that's how that works, but nevertheless. Everybody does stupid shit to get to the conclusion where it's a big shootout in an oil field. There was a trick earlier where Axel had used some gum and the wrapper to stop an alarm from tripping and everything. Well, Billy, Don't Be a Hero is not Billy the Locksmith, and that didn't work. So we get a shootout. Bridget Nielsen gets shot by Taggart. This is after his wife had left him again. So he's like, women, Eddie Murphy says. And then Dent had gotten shot just before that, and he dented his car. I'm so sorry, except I'm not. Yeah, then Lutz basically gets berated by the mayor. He gets fired. So Taggart and Billy, Don't Be a Hero are fine. Axel, is getting yelled at by the police chief. He leaves the vacation home that wasn't a vacation home, hands the keys to the cops, and then they arrive and they're like, who was that black man? And of course, we get a guy with that kind of hair being racist at the end of the movie. So there you go. That's it for that. Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is not very good. There isn't a lot of material to dive into. There's not meat, potatoes, any sizzle. I mean, maybe there's sizzle, but there's no steak. There's nothing to sink your teeth into. And unfortunately, the third one wouldn't come out till 1994, when Eddie Murphy's career was here. I mean, it was still pretty good, but there was no need for a third one, especially taking that long. But his career was on the ascent at this point, so they had to wait. And then they did Metro, and then they did other stuff. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.